reason I'm not using one myself is to make it accessible for everyone. And my presumption is that everyone has at least one chair. Take a seat on your chair, please. Great. I think the class is going well so far. You're sitting on a chair. Take your feet further back so that your toes come directly underneath your knees. And please make sure you're sitting towards the front of your chair. Bring your feet together or close. Lean forwards as if you're about to hear something very interesting, which I'm afraid you're not. Raise your arms up. Loosen the roots of your neck. Breathe through your nose if you can. Experiment with hinging from the hip joints. And experimentation, of course, in yoga is movements that are purposed to releasing the tension that manifests in the breath and the mind, which is tension associated with doubt, samshaya, which itself is associated with disconnection because we've started to believe the concepts and ideas about reality instead of directly opening to reality itself. So that will always lead to doubt because maps are not territories. Stand up, if you don't mind. Take a big circle, bring your hands to your heart, it's Tadasana Namaskara. Take 3, 4, 5 deep breaths. Now, you can see where I am, and I'm not in your house, as you know, and that means that I haven't whipped the chair away from behind you. So you've just come from the chair, nothing's changed, you haven't moved your feet. So theoretically, if you raise your arms up, and if you sit back, you've got to lean forwards, you should be able to just touch the chair, and it's still there. Breathe through your nose. Of course, if you need to adapt the pose, for example, moving your arms, our main priority is flow, because if we are flow, we are our environment is us. We become unified with our environment, we return to source, we surrender to the goddess. You can call it lots of different things. But as a result, then we are at one with body, brain, breath, universe relationships, which are of course many, like mind and breath, body and gravity, and so on. Sitting up in the chair, taking a big circle, rest one hand on top of the other and breathe through your nose if you can. Take your feet forwards so your knees are peaceful and settled. Take 2, 3, 4, or 5 deep breaths. 2, 3, 4, or 5 deep breaths. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn to bring one hand on the outside of your leg and the other hand on the chair back, if it's not too high. Even if it is too high, I think you'll be able to adapt by holding the chair one way or another. But you can always bring your hand down to the side of the chair or even on the seat. As I'm sure you've heard, us all of us Vajrasati yogic teachers and other yogic teachers, of course, who are of very good quality as well. The turns are really about lift and space. And of course, meditating on space, focusing on space is a really wonderful discipline to limit our gripping, grasping, grabbing modalities, to limit our slipping into thinking about reality, which is a sort of trick. It's a red herring, you know, it tricks us to thinking that we are in touch with reality when we're only in touch with the idea about it. Being in touch with it has to recognize that we are it. What we call me, myself, and I is the reality on the inside and the outside is the same reality. Okay, lift and turn and return to center and keep lifting and turning. And yes, you guessed it, we're turning the other way. Parigraha, we find that in Jainism and we find it in Patanjali Yoga. Parigraha, not that's the alpha privative, as it's called. Alpha privative meaning the A sound that negates what follows it. Plus pari, very, graha, which means from the root grah, which means grasping, not very grasping, is what we're advised, and to practice it in that manner. tune in. And that takes, letting go, doesn't it, of the various gripping, grasping, grabbing modalities. So I have to, like an old-fashioned radio, if you're tuned into, I don't know, Heart FM, which of course you'll want to tune right out of. If you tune into that, the best thing to do is tune into another radio station, not just tune into static or something. So we tune into the spinal uprightness, and that tunes us out of the modality of thinking about reality. Okay, come back to center. Well done. Take a breath. Cross one leg up and over the other. And it's very, very simple cross leg position. Now I've got hold. We have these very nice kitchen chairs here that we bought second hand from Buxted about 5 years ago. Anyway, it's a bit of a backstory, but they have a rung that I can hold, a sort of a rung. I suppose that's what it's called. So that's useful if you've got chairs that have that, but it's fine without. You can have your hands on the chair seat. Either way, we're trying to lift up and be light, and you can see that, of course, and probably you're doing the same. I'm moving in ways that are meditative and useful. Useful meaning in terms of absorption. So, which am I getting at? The door. Do you mind? All right, don't mind. I'll just leave it. Draw yourself, eyes up. So, useful means meditative. Really, that's all. Just means meditative. So, personally speaking, I could work with this for 10 minutes, I reckon, or more. It's not even a time limit on it. Because I'm not just doing a pose, I'm not just doing something, I'm using movement for meditation. Now there are lots of things we can do using the chair, and despite the fact that, I'm sure you're like me, you're using this to meditate, and you could probably stay for so long just absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. Because there are so many lovely things to explore, we'll come out of that side and we'll come to the other side, which we'll call side 2. So bring the other leg up. Just going to do a little lighting adjust here. It's a little dim in here. Once you've brought the other leg over, then breathing through your nose, again, let it be meditative. In other words, use the movements to reabsorb. Meditation isn't an altered state. I mean, I guess some people might call it an altered state, but meditation is absorption. So like samadhi, di means like support. And samad means with support. So there's a sense of being supported within the heart of everything, within the absorption of everything. So as you lift, and as you experiment, and as you play, and as you breathe, that's our purpose is meditation. And that's the same tuning out, tuning in. The Buddha described himself as the Tathagata, which you could translate as tuning out, tuning in. Tata plus agata, or tata plus gata. You can translate it either way. Agata means not gone, in other words, arrived. Gata means gone. So arrived, gone. Gone and arrived. Tuning out. To tune in. And again, I've always found this, that, if I'm very, very honest, the poses become this incredible opportunity to release resistance to the moment. And that resistance to the moment is attachment to ideas about the moment. Like if I'm looking at a map to walk around Brighton, I'm not looking at the road, and I'm not, aware of the weather, and I'm not aware of the people. I'm not aware of anything, that's actually there, just the map. And then I'm just going to end up in trouble within moments. So the map is there to help you get onto the territory. Okay, well done. Lovely that. I hope you like doing that as much as I do. We're going to come up next. I could have just done that for the whole hour, but you would have probably felt a bit cheated. Pick a chair like that. Now, if you didn't have a chair that had say you had a chair with a really high back, or you didn't have a chair with a back at all, you can always turn the chair that way and put blocks on the seat, because we're going to come into Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana, which is the right pronunciation. Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana. I think you can hear me okay, but do wave if you lose the sound. I know it's not as loud as it could be. I'll change over to the microphones when I feel confident that the iPad's fully charged. Now we're going to stand in front of our chair, and we're going to guesstimate the distance we need to be. We're not going to do the leg raising. We're going to guesstimate by looking between our feet and the chair back several times. And you'll get a feeling whether you're too close or too far or just right. You'll get a feeling about it. And so trust that feeling. Move further back, stay where you are, move further forward. And then when you feel ready, raise up and place without moving the standing leg foot. That may have been too late. I might have said that too late. The calcaneus, which is the heel bone, is actually quite long in terms of the point that you can place on the chair. So we are on the heel bone, but not the tendon above it. And if you want, you can raise your arms up. I quite like doing that. Breathe through your nose if you can. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Brain relaxed. And we're looking for flow. We're always looking for flow. In other words, a sense of space in the present, everywhere. So each and every part of the body, without any exceptions, is in this flow experience. Someone I know fairly well from teaching in London, not that well, I know her a little bit, opened a yoga studio in Brighton last year called Flow State. I think it's a lovely name for a studio. It's Carly Popham's studio. Big wide circle, hands on your hips, and try raising your leg up if you can. Yeah, you did it. Doesn't have to lift high or far, or even have to lift at all, as long as you can feel the rectus femoris. And then bring your foot down. Well done. Take a deep breath, or 2 or 3 or 4. Let's hear a few deep breaths. More lighting adjustment. And of course, we're going to do the other leg. So, in your Tadasana, Breathing through the nose. And placing the heel bone without moving the standing leg foot. Deep, natural breaths. And then raise your arms up when you're ready. So it's profound to think about flow as a very honest, direct experience, because Prakriti, the interdependent field, is ever changing. She is anitya, which means changing all the time. Anitya. You know, in beautiful ways, in all sorts of ways. You know, it's a non-personal, ever-changing, never-ending, never-beginning, interdependent, selfless flow that seems to have a quality of personal or self because it's flooded with consciousness, the purusha, the consciousness witness. And so that appears to sort of, you know, it's compared in the tradition to a lame person, someone who can't walk or move, and a blind person. And the lame person, its consciousness, it's open, it has no particularities. And then the blind person is the purusha, you know, the interdependent field. And as they come together, it seems as if the purusha is made of this stuff, you know, this movement and these interdependent experiences. Anyway, it's too good. I love that. Let's bring the arms down. Place the foot down. Take a deep breath, please. And then we're going to go sideways onto the chair, very, very simply. Sorry, I mostly seem like I'm just a silhouette probably. We're going to put a foot on the chair. Voila. And then we can really concentrate on the same stretches we get in the adductors in poses like Parsva Konasana and Virabhadrasana. We're going to bring our elbow down. Obviously, if this chair back is too high, again, you can turn the chair around or put your foot on a block on the seat. We're going to stretch up. We've got one elbow down, palm up. Breathe through the nose. It's a meditation, of course. And let's remind ourselves that meditation means absorption, or perhaps even more clearly, we could say reabsorption. Stretching up and over, maybe. Breathing without holding the breath. Breathing without holding the breath. And there's billions of micro adjustments that are about deepening the dance. Billions of micro adjustments that are about deepening the dance until the dance and the dancer, as Yeats once said, W.B. Yeats, in one of his poems, until the dance and the dancer are one. You can't tell one from the other. Okay, arm down, push into the leg, bring your leg back, move your chair, and breathe through your nose. Yeah. You might want a few deep breaths before the second side. You might want to shake out. As long as you feel relaxed. And then up you go, second leg. Nicely done. It's quite a sort of Liza Minnelli sort of moment for some of us, isn't it? Anyway, breathing into it. Enjoy the meditation, which means that we let the breath resolve back into the mind, resolve back into the body, resolve back into the field of body, mind, breath, and environment. Elbow down, arm up. Breathing through your nose without holding your breath. the option to go up and over if it's meditative. We're purposing all our movements. The poses are not our aim. We're not aiming to achieve postures or idealized versions of postures or full expressions of the posture. We're aiming to use the postures as portals. That is to say, we're using them to transport us from an independent experience of us and them, you and me, body and mind, into an interdependent experience that is the ultimate truth in which you can trust. So many of the texts tell us that if we surrender to Prakriti, to nature, her interdependent, changeable reality will negate clinging and we'll fall into our true nature. Patan, or patana means to fall. Okay, arm down. Super duper, everyone. Chair back to the first side, please. Do take deep breaths whenever, feel loose, feel loose. Now we're going to put our foot on the chair. Now it's easy to forget that all the normal rules of physics apply. I'm just going to take my tree top off to reveal my tree top underneath. Trees on everything today. Now we're going to step the other foot a little further back. Obviously be aware that the laws of gravity are as they always are. And then with the back toes turned in, perhaps you can bring your hand to the chair seat, or you could use a block on the chair seat if you need to. Stretch up and calmly, meditatively, breathing through your nose, find the pelvic floor as a direct experience. Lightly tone the tongue. And essentially just play. Sometimes I like to do things like lift the back heel right up off the floor if I feel confident enough about the chair. I'm doing it now actually. Because you get different kinds of stretches. Particularly you can get good stretches in the psoas of the back leg. You lift the heel and let the whole pose move. Don't hold the breath is the main tip, isn't it? Wunderbar. Arm down, push calmly. Remember that chair still is following the rules of gravity. And taking those deep breaths that I know we might need, swap the chair to the other side of your mat. Well done. Take 2 or 3 or 4 deep breaths. And place your foot. Similarly, the other foot this time. Beautifully done. Then, with awareness and care, stepping or jumping your back foot, depending on how secure your chair feels, to make the stride relatively long. And then coming down, perhaps to the chair seat. If you've got longer arms, that's going to be easier. Or a block that you can place your hand onto on the chair seat. Investigative, breath-centered. Playful. Again, you might want to try extending the body forwards and lifting the back heel, which I'm doing again now. I really like that. See what you think. Try if you want, lifting the back heel, taking the whole thing much further forwards. Still purposing the poses as ever to suck us through into a new reality, which is the reality of interdependence here and now. It's the substratum of reality. It's the foundational reality. It's the Paramartha Satya, as Buddhists would call it. The ultimate layer of reality. Okay, good job everyone, calmly. Know about the chair that it's not still obeys the laws of physics. Turn the chair around. Sorry about that noise. Turn the chair around. So the chair seat faces you. Again, If there's any issues with the chair seat being too high, chair back rather being too high, you can use blocks. If you haven't got blocks, you can use almost anything. There's always, I'm in my kitchen, there's loads of things I could just take now if I needed to. We're going to place our hands in a sort of karate chop kind of position. And we're going to walk back so that listen to this, the ankles are a little further back than the hips, so that you can then pull your hips or the very top of the thighs further back and stretch your back in that way. Try and see if you can get some stretch through your lumbar. Some people find lifting their heels intermittently is useful. Some people find curling the fingers in towards the center of the palm, so making a sort of gentle fist. That can help to make the connective tissue on the palms of the hands sort of thicker and so more padded. I find that useful. Breathing deep, breathing natural. Okay, press down, lift up, walk forwards, keep calm. Ooh, it's a good stretch. Now here's the thing you can do with a chair. Turn it so the corner faces forwards. I've diagonalized my chair, and that is a technically correct term. Let's have a quick drink of dandelion coffee while you're doing it. Very nice. So once you've diagonalized your chair, the corner facing forward, that should allow you space to be able to sit on the corner of the chair. So hopefully it's not too much in your way, and only a small portion of your body balances right on the corner, so the thigh itself is mostly free. Now again, if the chair seat is too high, by all means put a block under your foot or both feet, and whatever you need. Line up as you would, as you ever do, heel to arch in these poses, not poses where you face forwards, obviously. And adjust and readjust and stretch your arms out when you want to and if you're ready. And we're going to come into the Viparita Virabhadrasana. So it's leaning back and stretching up without holding a breath. The Viparita, which means reversed. Or the reverser, it means. And breathe into it, and of course, adjusting and readjusting. So that every part, all the parts of the body mind that are not involved in the pose, which are in the minority, otherwise you wouldn't be in the pose at all. But the parts that are not in the pose, little areas of skin and muscle and breath, nerve, you gradually find ways to bring them in. Now we're going to bring our elbow down onto the leg and turn and stretch up and over. Don't hold the breath. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw. Take deeper, deeper breaths if you can. Eyes soft, jaw soft, mind soft. Okay, we're coming up only because I feel like I'm spoiling myself. I have so much enjoyment there. I feel like I'm spoiling myself. Once you're up, turn the chair again so the other corner faces forwards, and then coming down to the chair, turning it so that you've got minimum invasion of your space from the chair and back like that. Similarly, sitting right on the corner, right at the top of your thumb. Now here's something I'm doing but not sharing with you, or I'm going to share now because it's useful, I think. You can lift up your heels and even lift up your body using your hand on the chair. to adjust and micro-adjust in the direction of towards the back of the knee. So the skin underneath the thigh and the soft tissue moves towards the back of the knee. You just shift it under. If you're ready to stretch the arms, you can. Turn your head if you want. Breathing through your nose. I'm lucky to be looking at one of Sophie Abbott's beautiful paintings. We bought from her a few years ago. Lovely. Again, the viparita. So leaning back, breathing easy. Sorry, just adjusting that because viparita. Breathing through the nose. And then from the viparita, coming forwards to the Parshva Konasana. Breathe as you can through your nose. Light tone in the tongue. Eyes and brain relax. Okay, good job. Come on up when you're ready. Bring yourself up to a standing position. You're going to have the chair the regular way round. Now I think it's rather super nice to use a brick block for this. And I'm not just saying that as an excuse for me to come forward and show you a brick block and at the same time take a drink of my dandelion coffee. And I'm also saying it because it's true. So it goes on the chair. And then you place that right at the top of the thigh. Now I know that this might mean, again, for some of you, that the chair might be too high. Don't forget you can put blocks underneath your front foot, breathing your back foot. Again, the purpose of the block is to be quite specific on the very top of the thigh. Very top of the thigh. And please feel free to put blocks under your front foot. So this is Virabhadrasana, number 1. The arms are raised, the breath is deep, the tummy is lightly toned. I suppose I should be clear, I'm sure you know, but light tone in the tummy is a sort of in, up, reiterative, influential current. Roots of the neck soft. So I think using a chair gives you more time to kind of play with the pose, to work it around in your own way. I like it a lot. Use the support to adjust and readjust. Okay. Could lose myself in any of these. Coming out and turning around on the other side, obviously. We want to make sure that our front foot is not too far forwards. Otherwise, the chair may well dig into your back leg, which we don't want. And we want to make sure that that block goes just in the right place, right at the very top of the thigh. You can even use, you probably haven't got one with you, a folded towel or flannel, just to fold it up and put it underneath that area so you've got that specific landing spot, especially if you find the block too high. If you're ready to, you raise your arms up, lightly tone the tongue. That's beautiful. Breathe through your nose if you can. Purpose the posture to return to source. Purpose the posture So that means you're free to raise your back heel, to bend your back knee, to raise your front heel, to lift and re-land, anything. Anything that's conducive to meditation. Okay. I don't know if any of you have met Larry, but I'm as happy as him in this pose. We'll come out calmly. We're going to turn the chair around. Now here you might want to use your block again, or you can use regular blocks, that's fine as well. Either way, whether you're using a brick block or regular blocks, the block will be long side on to the chair itself, but you might not use it at all. The idea of using a block is that when you place one foot on the chair, you're going to step the other leg back and you're going to flip the foot over and you're going to draw the tibial tuberosity, the very top of the tibia, down onto the block while you draw the groin up. But if you've got long legs or a good range of a large range of motion, then you might land on the floor equally. So most people, I think, using a block is going to be better. You're going to get more height in your chest and so on. Either way, when you land your knee, make sure it's not just dropping, but you're lifting up the groins. You're lifting up through the tummy as the knee goes down, so it's lowered down, not dropped down. Once you're in position, you hold the chair, you pull gently to drive the back body in towards the front body. You lift the front body gently up. You stay as long or as short as you like up in a wide. I like these so much that I can just feel myself dissolving or resolving back into the essence field beyond thinking. Okay. To come up, one hand goes on the chair seat. You push and you come up. Obviously, when you want, when you feel ready, up comes the other foot. Similarly, it's obvious, I think, but I'll mention it anyway. The further back you take what will be your lowered knee, the stronger the stretch will be. So that's a choice you can make. Again, hopping the foot, flipping the foot, drawing the tibial tuberosity, which is the bony prominence just underneath your kneecap. Drawing that down towards your brick, probably, maybe the floor. Depends on the height of your chair and the height of your legs. Breathe through your nose. Jaw soft. Let it be a meditation in the present moment. And we've already qualified what the word meditation means. Reabsorption. So, tathagata, disappearing, reappearing. In the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, they talk about samsara and nirvana being the same thing. It's just a sort of flip side. So in the same way we say the particle, which is the basic sort of samsaric, what causes the rounds of suffering is the particle, the separate me. Ultimately is the wave, is the feel. Okay, well done. Come up nice and calm, if you can, nice and easy, and turn the chair around. Now, it's quite nice to use a yoga mat or a blanket or something on the back of the chair. Now, my chair's not like a yoga chair. Yoga chairs are better, much better, but I just wanted to use a chair that was regular. So, you can put something on the back of the chair to make it softer for your hands, but we're going to bring the pelvis forward, come up on the tips of our toes, and really just lift and stretch. So it's a version of Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And I think it's just wonderful. And you can really trust the chairs. I mean, these chairs are actually made in the 1960s. And I feel confident on it that it's robust enough. It's a well-made chair. So I can really stretch up. A keen awareness of the mouth of the central channel, that's the pelvic floor. All following meditatively the central channel all the way through. Okay. Well done. Oh, I like that. Hope you found it useful. Walk forwards. Turn your chair around. Take some deep breaths. Fingertips over the front lip of the chair. Fingers facing out. Fingers facing out. You got it. And then a similar sort of pose. Now I know that some people will find their chairs a little narrow for the width of the collarbones. And mine's no different, mine's a little narrow, but you can still work it by bringing your hands out as far as the chair will allow and adjusting your hands. And again, it's the Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And I just think it's a meditative, endless journey back to the mother feel. So really breathe into it. Really breathe into it. Sorry, just make an adjustment here on the screen. Okay, coming out of the pose nice and easy. Taking your breath, shaking out if you need to. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Okay, coming down to laying on your back. I realise I've just got to sort a mini crisis out. We've got to 5%. My charger's not working, but it's fine. If you lay on your back, I'll have it sorted out in a minute. No time. Take a few deep breaths. You can lay with your legs up on the chair itself while I find an extension cable. So, and then take 3 or 4 breaths like that. So 3, 4, 5 deep breaths. A few strong poses there, or awakening poses, let's call them. Bring the chair in quite close and hold the front legs of the chair with your hands and place the underside of your heels against the front lip of the chair seat. That's it. I think this alone is just wonderful. For some of you, the front legs of the chair will lift up, that's fine. Others, it won't, depends on the length of your arms. Keep relaxing the neck, breathing into your tail. Jaw placid. Then lightly tone your tummy in a way that goes in and up, and then roll your feet up onto the chair seat, turning your arms outwardly, still holding the front legs of the chair, so that you deepen what are called the spinous processes of the back. They go deeper. If you roll your arms out, you can really feel them going deeper into the back body, so that you minimize the anterior compression on the discs, because as the spinous processes deepen at the back, they open a little at the front. So the more they push out, the more you close on the anterior discs. So bringing them deeper just keeps that pressure off the anterior discs. Coming down slow and calm. If you're ready, please feel free to stay longer if you want. Until you land. And then let go of the chair. Stretch your arms out. Take 5 or 6 deep breaths. Let go of tension in the lower back, in the neck, in the temples and in the jaw. Raise up your legs straight up towards the ceiling. And keep breathing deep. Feel free to dorsally and plantar flex your feet. Whether you do those both together or one and then the other, circle or half circle. Scrunching and unscrunching the toes. Great. Then rolling over onto your side, coming up from the side, nice and easy as you come, and bringing your hands into a sort of prayer-like position on the chair, quite close to the front edge of the chair. Hands, as I say, in a prayer-like position. You can always cover the chair if you want more softness. But bear in mind, if you're using a metal yoga chair, blankets will slip and not give you a stable surface. So it's probably better to use a non-slip support if you're using a support. Either way, you walk back, the knees walk back, your head will come in between the arms. For some people, the head will even rest on the chair. Depends on the length of your neck relative to the length of your upper arm bones. The tummy is toned. The lower back is meditatively stretched. The breath is deep. Thumbs can come towards your back. Some people find that very, very meditative. Or you can take your hands apart and towards the chair back, which is, you'll go through an intense range of sensations, but they're all fine to do. You know, if you feel any doubt, it's fine. You can do that. You can go through those sensations. Great. Hands back to the prayer position. Press down slowly without haste. Please don't rush. Come up nice and easy. And turn around. 180 degrees. Breathe through your nose if you can. Let your bum settle. Let your shoulders settle. Let your seat settle. Now, if you're someone who normally needs blocks for kneeling, of course you might have them there already. That's fine, they can stay in situ for what we're going to do next. We're going to bring our hands onto the chair seat like this, and we're going to walk forward. Hopefully you'll be able to, if you're using a block, you'll be able to walk it with you as I'm demonstrating here. And the rule is you go further than you think. You walk, when you think, oh, I shouldn't go further, then you shouldn't, okay? You just walk and walk and walk. And when you really feel you just can't really go much further, then you sit down and keep your head in line with the spine and take deep breaths. If you feel a lot of pressure on your inner elbows or even outer elbows, you can try turning the hands to press down into the index finger more or little finger more, experimenting like that. Breathe through your nose, one way or the other. The other advantage of sitting on a block, of course, is it changes the angle of the arms. So if you did choose to sit on a block, you'll notice that the arms are angled a little, a different angle to what they would be if you were lower down. In other words, they're not pulled as high up. You don't get quite as dynamic a sensation, and that might be just right for you. Okay, well done. Oh, arms come forward. Breathe through your nose. Take 3 deep breaths. Jaw soft, eyes soft. Good job. We're going to turn around. Now you might want to put a blanket down for extra comfort here on your yoga mat, because sometimes the pubis does stick in, dig into the floor a little bit in this pose. So by all means, double up your mat, or you can also put on a blanket. And we're going to lay on our tummies. With the chair, we've got, I should mention, you've got 2 different choices for the chair. This way round, or this way round. Now this way round is going to be a bigger stretch in the pose that we're going to do. So that's up to you. So you're laying on your tummy, facing towards the chair. You've got those 2 options. Just realise the time is running out. So many things to play with here. So we're just coming up into the elbows very, very calmly. Stretching the tummy forwards. We've either got the chair seat facing us, or as I've got it, the chair back. As we stretch the tummy forwards, we stretch the legs backwards. And we do that a few times. Tummy one way, legs the other. Stretching in between those 2 points of stretch, the psoas muscle, extending as it does from your inner thigh at the top, across your lateral pubis. Can you feel it? And underneath the abdominals. So right back in the pelvic basin. It goes right backwards and then up into the sides of the lower spine. So stretching that muscle, and then you raise your hands up to whichever side of the chair you chose. I quite like to use the chair, I even tip the chair sometimes to create this sort of wheelie effect that helps me deepen the spine, tone the tummy, lift the chest. It still is, of course, a meditation. You don't have to do this wheelie, that's just what I like to do. And you don't have to have the chair back, you can have the chair seat. Okay. Easing out whatever you did. One hand on top of the other. 3 deep breaths. And if it turns into 4 deep breaths, well, that's fine. We're going to roll slow, face towards me, a little twist before our Shavasana. Bend the leg you're laying on, 90 degrees. Suck in the tummy, lift and turn. Elbows, forearms, and wrists on the floor. Shayana, Maritasana. Top leg on top of the bottom leg, curl up. Same thing on the other side, of course. If you need to move your chair, move it with awareness of all the stretches you've done. So be mindful of your body when it's been stretched. Similarly, lifting and turning when you're ready. And similarly, elbows, forearms, and wrists. Top leg on top of the bottom leg, curl up. Cross-legged position on a block or on the floor. If with 2 blocks, you know to use a blanket. Breathe through your nose. Relax your seat. Hands to the heart, which are Om, and then we'll have a minute in Shavasana. So deep breath in. Om. And several deep breaths follow. Releasing and laying down on your back. Obviously, if your back feels at all tight, put some support underneath your legs, underneath your knees. Which could include your chair. Good thinking, Donna. Think of Shavasana as just one big yes. Worth taking time getting into the posture so it's spacious and flows. And everything says yes. The body weight says yes to gravity. Weight of the legs, the weight of the pelvis. Weight of the lower back. The weight of the rib cage. The weight of the arms, the weight of the hands. The weight of the neck and the weight of the head. We can feel the heavier the body, the lighter the mind. I call it settling, expanding. As ever, we can lay on, and I recommend if you can, to lay on until the body has fully absorbed the pose. That feels like when it's happened, nothing is doing anything other than this vibration, this moment. Obviously, if you need to come out of the pose before, then you can bend your legs at this point, but otherwise do that when you're ready, in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And when you do bend the legs, after you've bent the legs and scooted the buttocks under, which might be now or might be in 5 or 10 minutes, then you roll onto your left side, lay as comfortably as you can. I think it's nice to draw the knees up. The tummy is soft. Then onto the right side. And at that point, when you feel you come round very softly, very naturally, you'll be able to bring yourself up nice and easy from the side. And then either from laying down or from where you are, bringing the hands into a prayer position. May any benefit that we've gained in our acting in this